have a guest speaker, Jim Lumen, is going to come and talk to us. And as I understand, he's going to continue talking about mindfulness, which he spoke to us about before. Without further ado, I'm going to let Jim talk more about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor John. I really appreciate it. The last time I spoke on mindfulness, I spoke with about Williams and Penman, Ram Dass, also John Kabat-Zinn, and if I can pronounce the name right, Nhat Hanh Ha, Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And so anyway, today I'd like to focus on Eckhart Tolle. As John said, it's very popular worldwide now. A couple of years ago, Eckhart Tolle and Oprah Winfrey did a worldwide web. 40 million people participated in this. It's not fresh, it's not new, it's something that's been around, but still there's some people that have never heard of it. Last time when I talked, I touched a little bit on how mindfulness is about responsibility, self-responsibility. If you have physical pain, if you have mental or emotional pain, it's not about running away from it. It's about confronting it, embracing it, actually blessing it. John Kabat-Zinn found in his medical practice, he's a very successful heart surgeon, and he used Western medicine along with Eastern meditation exercises, which later on became mindfulness, and he found that his patients were able to rise above their pain. It was still there, but it was less. And so it's kind of a remarkable thing. And so since I didn't have enough time last time to include Eckhart Tolle, which I think he's my favorite one of all of them, I'm going to bring some of his concepts to you today. And it's going to be out of the box, but it's nice to be out of the box once in a while, right? Accept this moment as if you have chosen it. Watch your mind so it doesn't control you. You are not your thoughts, but you are the awareness of your thoughts. To calm the chatter noise in your mind, it's like a constant waves. It just keeps rolling in and filling up the mind, right? But we don't have to be in that wash machine being tumbled around and thrown all over. We can learn to surf those waves peacefully. And that's what mindfulness is really all about. Unlike most people that come out and say that you have to deny the body, fasting, this and different kinds of philosophies, Eckhart Tolle is completely the opposite. He says, when you have that chatter and that noise in your mind, go in breathing. Barbara just mentioned breathing a moment ago. That's a perfect example of mindfulness, is focusing on the breath, going inside of your body. And that's part of Eckhart Tolle's philosophy, is becoming divine, as you have to use the body in order to get that divine connection. That's a little bit different from most people. Don't look for goodness outside yourself, but the goodness that's already inside you. Bad memories are just thoughts and have no power over you. Sit and be. That equals stillness. Stillness is the language God speaks. Everything else is a bad translation. When Eckhart Tolle was asked, when are you happy? Eckhart Tolle remarked, always happy, content, every moment in my stillness. Peaceful, aliveness. Grateful for this moment, no matter what form it takes. The world can't make you happy. Things can't make you happy. Joy's an inside job. Where'd you hear that before, right? And I've heard John say that too, joy's an inside job. See that in the moment of noticing the silence around you. You are aware, but not thinking. Immediately there is some state of inner stillness, alertness. I am present. And the true intelligence operates silently, and the solutions to our problems are found in the stillness. Stillness is the only thing in the world that has no form, but then it's not really a thing, and it's not really of this world, beyond the thinking mind. Spiritual awakening is awakening from the dream of thought. You are the knowing, not the condition that is known. You transcend thought by entering your inner body, going into the body, the breath, going into your hands, feeling the energy. Immediately the noise slows down, or it ceases, or it lessens. Lots of times you might be lying in bed and you might be suffering from anxiety, and the best thing you can really do is just start focusing on your breath. Go inside your body. Feel the energy in your hands. And then you'll find that that anxiety, all that chatter and all that noise subsides. Become at ease with the state of not knowing. You know how we're always constantly judging, measuring, calculating. It's something that you really don't want to do. You want to observe without those things. The mind is always trying to conclude and interpret. It is afraid of not knowing. So when you can be at ease with not knowing, you have already gone beyond the mind. A deeper knowing that is non-conceptual then arises out of the state. Most people's lives are run by desire and fear. Desire is the need to add something to yourself in order to be yourself more fully. All fear is the fear of losing something and thereby becoming diminished and being less. The fact being cannot be given or taken away. Being in its fullness is already within you now. Your acceptance of what is takes you to a deeper level where your sense of self no longer depend on the mind judgments of good or bad. Acceptance of the unacceptable is the greatest source of grace in the world. Sometimes surrender means giving up, trying to understand, and becoming comfortable with not knowing. Leave life alone and let it be. A great silent space holds all of nature in its embrace. It also holds you. As long as the ego runs your life, emotions and actions arise from desire and fear. In relationships, you either want or fear something from the other person. How wonderful to go beyond wanting and fearing in your relationships. Love doesn't want or fear anything. Living in such a way as if you had completely chosen whatever you feel or experience at this moment. In other words, if you make a decision and you're experiencing something that might be something negative to you, act and feel as if you chose that. And it makes a whole different perception. It makes a whole different concept of what you're feeling. This inner alignment with now is the end of suffering. See what happens when you just allow a feeling to be. When you are suffering, when you are unhappy, stay with it. Don't resist it. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Bless it. And that way you'll find that it soon disappears. Unhappiness or problems cannot survive in the now. Go beyond good and bad by refraining from mentally labeling anything as good or bad. When you let it be without naming it, enormous power is suddenly available to you. The power of the universe moves through you. An inner yes to it. And so let it be as it is. Whatever your life situation is, how would you feel if you completely accepted it as it is right now? Like I said earlier, you don't have to be in that wash machine being tumbled around all over the place. The constant waves are going to be coming into your mind. But if you take some of these concepts that Eckhart Tolle, as I have just said to you, you'll be able to ride those waves in peace, and it'll be fun. It'll be joyful. I'd like to end this with a little prayer. When we know who we truly are, there is an abounding, live sense of peace. We could call it joy because that's what joy is. Vibrantly alive peace. It is the joy of knowing yourself as the very life essence before life takes on form. That is the joy of being who you truly are. I am not my thoughts, emotions, sense perceptions, and experience. I am not any of those. I am not the content of my life. I am life. I am the space in which all things happen. I am consciousness. I am the now. I am. And so it is. Thank you.